Sarajevo crisis, immediate cause, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, was assassinated at Sarajevo, capital of Bosnia, on June 28, 1914. The assassination was organized by a secret society called Black Hand, or Union of Death, formed by extremist Serbian nationalists, whose aim was to unite all Serbians into single Serbian state. Austria served an ultimatum on Serbia on July 23, making 11 demands. Serbia accepted most of the demands, except those that would have led to the loss of her sovereignty. Austria declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. Russia started preparation for war to support Serbia. Germany declared war on August 1, 1914, on Russia on August 3, on France. So German troops marched into Belgium to press on to France on August 4. On the same date, Britain declared war on Germany. Japan declared war on Germany to capture German colonies in the Far East. Bulgaria joined on the side of Germany. Italy remained neutral for some time but joined war against Germany in 1915, breaking the Triple Alliance. Britain, France, Russia and their allies were called the Central Power. The war was fought in many different areas called fronts. Western fronts between Germany and northern France. Eastern fronts between Germany and Russian forces. There was fighting at sea and in the Middle East, where the Allied power attacked the Ottoman Empire. Results of the war: the Treaty of Versailles, June 28, 1919. The victorious powers, or the Allies, met in a conference, first in Versailles, a suburb of Paris, and later in Paris, between January and June in 1919. Though the number of countries represented at the conference was 27. The terms of the peace treaties were decided by Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States, Lloyd George, Prime Minister of Britain, George Clemenceau, Prime Minister of France. The defeated countries were not represented at the conference. The victorious powers also excluded Russia from the conference. On June 28, 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed. It ended the war. The basis of treaties negotiation was the American President Wilson's 14 points. Terms of the treaty: the treaty declared Germany guilty of aggression. Germany was required to pay lost damage suffered by the Allies during the war. The amount of reparations was fixed at $33 billion. Germany had to cede her merchant ships to the Allies as compensation. Had to supply huge quantities of coal to France and Italy and Belgium for 10 years. The area of Rhine Valley was to be demilitarized and German territory. West of Rhine was occupied by the Allied troops for 15 years. Germany lost Alsace-Lorraine to France. Eupen et Malmedy to Belgium. Schleswig to Denmark. Danzig became a free port in the Polish territory. Germany ceded parts of her pre-war territory to Denmark, Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia, France. The coal mines in German area called Saar ceded to France for 15 years. Area was to be governed by the League of Nations. Germany lost all her colonies to the victorious Allies: 1, Britain 2, Belgium 3, South Africa 4, Portugal. German colonies in the Pacific and areas under her control in China were given to Japan. China was aligned with the Allies during the war, but her areas under German control were given away to Japan. The German army was restricted to a force of 100,000 soldiers. Navy was limited to 15,000 men, 24 ships. The Air Force and submarines were banned. The treaty affirmed the complete independence of Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. The Covenant of the League of Nations was added to the Treaty of Versailles. Territorial rearrangements: the period after war saw the beginning of the end of the European supremacy in the world. Economically, militarily, United States surpassed to Europe to emerge as a world power. The peace treaties signed after the war transformed the political map of the world, particularly of Europe. 3 ruling dynasties were destroyed: the Romanov in Russia during the war itself, the Hohenzollern in Germany, the Habsburg in Austria-Hungary. Soon after the war, the rule of Ottomans came to an end in Turkey. Austria and Hungary became separate independent states. Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia emerged as independent states. Thus, the war gave a serious blow to the autocratic monarchical system and led to the development of democracy in Europe. Empires having different culture emerged. After the war, These included 1 Finland 2, Estonia 3, Latvia 4, Lithuania and Yugoslavia. Under the impulses of nationalism, A. Alsace-Lorraine was restored to France. B. Schleswig-Holstein was restored Denmark. Formation of the League of Nations. One of most significant consequences of the war was creation of the League of Nations. The horrors of war convinced the leaders of the world that there must be a mechanism to prevent war, promote international cooperation. This culminated in the setting up of the League of Nations. An important part of the peace treaties was the Covenant of the League of Nations. Wilson's 14 points included the creation of an international organization for A. the preservation of peace, B. to guarantee the independence of all states. Thus, the League of Nations was created as a world organization of all independent states in 19